Hello guys, welcome back to In the Shadows, the Quake stealth mod by Sock. This is the third and final map of the demo, called Castle of Shadows. Here's a little introductory blurb here that you can have a read of. Now this map is a lot more complex than the previous two. It's got a lot more routes and kind of complex ways of avoiding enemies and various traps and secrets and all that kind of good stuff. And it's really nice to see that the maps ramp up in complexity and difficulty as you go through and play them. It really makes me hopeful for the rest of the maps that will be in the full release version. This map also throws some new gameplay situations at the player as well, which you haven't really dealt with in previous maps, which is great to see. One of the worries I had with this mod is that it would be the same thing in every single map, kind of, avoid enemies, kill a few of them, get to the exit. But it's nice to see that there's kind of new mechanics and new enemies introduced as you go through, which have their own requirements to get past. So I like the way this map starts in this big plaza. You've got a couple of different options about how you want to proceed. Yes, I wonder what would happen if we knocked on every door. It's a nice little Easter egg that Sock put in this map after beta testers kept on trying to walk through all these doors. So he thought it would be fun to add a little Easter egg there. More on that later. Now you'll notice here, I've used the crossbow to shoot the enemy in the back and then hide. And this is something I learned from Sock after chatting with him on Funk message board in the release thread for In the Shadows. And the crossbow is actually capable of doing a great many things in this game. It's just not directly explained to you during the tutorial. It's the same kind of issue I had with the poison bolts. The way the tutorial didn't tell you about the infighting mechanic there. There's similar mechanics going on with the crossbow as well. So you can shoot an enemy in the back, and if you're not in his line of sight when it hits him, he will come and investigate the position the bolt was fired from. So this is a fantastic way of controlling enemy movement, getting them to move so you can either slip by undetected or get them into a decent backstab position. Now, unfortunately, I do this a couple of times during this playthrough. Is I fire bolts hoping they go past the enemies into the walls, but I end up hitting them like that. It's because I've got the crosshair turned off, because I think crosshairs look ugly when I'm recording footage. I'd rather not have something stuck in the middle of the screen for you guys. But it makes it a little bit hard to aim. And I do like recording these videos kind of on the fly. So here you can see we've got a couple of routes we can choose from. We can go through the secret passage, or we can go through the main entrance there. I like that the main entrance is always the most heavily guarded, it feels like, and you're kind of encouraged to explore around to find a different route or a little side entrance or something. It's really nicely done. Now again, this level may look familiar to veteran Quakers. I wonder if all of the maps in the mod are going to be kind of reimaginings of the Quake Episode 1. That would be kind of cool actually, because Sock's done an excellent job of kind of combining them into his mod, making them feel new. Just having that tinge of nostalgia. I was wondering if that red texture there was kind of a secret area, but I'm guessing not. You'll notice those little recesses in the wall there with the dark pit in them. This is a new mechanic for this level. There are kind of runes hidden around. Usually rooms with these things have runes in them which you can shoot and it'll send a bolt of lightning between those 2 points. And when you first see this mechanic, you're kind of wondering, well, what the hell is that for? It looks important. I was wondering if it was perhaps some sort of puzzle where you have to kind of power up a door or something by, you know, activating all these lightning pillars, kind of transferring the power around different parts of the level or something. Been playing a lot of Darksiders 2 recently, which is where I got the idea from. I was wondering if it was something similar. But it's actually for something completely different, which we'll get to as we get further into the map. But it's a very ingenious way of dealing with a new enemy type which we encounter. I was a big fan of it when I worked it out. Again, this wouldn't be in the Shadows map without tons of secret doors and passages all over the place. And I've played this map through 2 or 3 times now, and there's still secrets I haven't found, and there's a couple of buttons which activate special lifts and things like that, which I haven't found yet, or haven't, you know, just worked out what they do. So there's still a lot of things to find. So here's the rune that activates the electricity. These are kind of hidden wherever there's electricity pylons. There's always a rune hidden in the room somewhere. Work that one out a bit later. I was thinking here that that button would power up a secret area or something. Again, like I mentioned before, I was figuring it was to access a different part of the map at first. So we've seen this area before, but we're coming at it from a new angle this time. And again, this is just another area into the main castle section of the map. Again, it reminds me a lot of games like Dishonored and Deus Ex, where there's multiple routes into the same area. It's just up to you to decide which kind of gameplay style you like. So here I'm trying to shoot a bolt into the ogre to get him to move, but again, it's quite hard to aim without the crosshairs, so I keep missing. So this is what these little wall closets are for. Really handy if you're doing a full stealth playthrough. You can just hide in them like this, and even if their eye turns red, they won't notice you. As for them, the wall is of course solid. So in my last video I asked the question of whether certain enemies had different detection radiuses and activation values and all that kind of stuff, and SOC did confirm that was true. The standard guards are generally the most unobservant enemies, and then you have things like Hell Knights, which tend to not get distracted as much. I think ogres fall into that category as well. They get distracted less, and when they are distracted they turn for a smaller amount of time. And then I'm guessing that perhaps the Rottweilers and maybe even demons are in a separate group as well. Now these traps here should give away the map this is built after. This next part kind of highlights a little gripe I have with this map, I suppose, is that I'm bringing this ogre over here, distracted him with the crossbow, and then my plan is to kill him with the spike trap here. And but unfortunately this spikes, you know, just kind of graze his little finger as he walks past. I think it would be really fun if environmental hazards in the maps were kind of, you know, extremely deadly to enemies if you can get them to walk into them. I think that would be a really fun kind of gameplay device. Obviously you don't really want to kill the player instantly with something like that, but if it killed enemies instantly, that could be kind of fun. It's a gripe I want to level at the electricity pillars as well, is that when you use them for their intended purpose, it tends to take a hell of a long time to get rid of the enemies you're trying to kill with it. Which is quite irritating. So I did manage to find all the buttons there, but I didn't quite notice where the door was that opened. I was a bit more preoccupied with not dying. Oh boy, yeah. This is where I just keep running into enemies and just derping very hard. This is where I notice we can go down this well here. I'm figuring it may be another route in to the castle or something similar. But nope, it's just that secret. Which is good. One of the criticisms I always get of my Quake videos is that I never find all the secrets. So I'm doing my best to find them all in this video, to avoid ridicule. Now unfortunately this ogre kind of gets a bit stuck here, which is a bit of a shame, because it turns out you can't really get past him, and yeah, I died. So we're going to skip on to my next go here. I've tried to take exactly the same route through the map as I did last time. There's a couple of differences, but generally we're in the same kind of place. That was a secret I missed before by activating all the buttons down here. Found it this time. Getting the telefrag. I did completely forget to come back this way and open that door again, unfortunately. But never mind. Again, the map itself just visually is beautiful. There's so many little things which just impress me, like the kind of curved entrance hallway into this area that I just walked past. And the water adds a nice new dimension to the visuals as well. Keeps things looking fresh. I'm just going to deal with this guy again. I'm going to try and clear out this next area. There's so many enemies in here, you have to be really careful about how you approach it. Which is nice. It's nice to see some more complex areas where you really have to think about how you're going to get through it. You can't just pick out enemies willy-nilly, you have to be more careful and considered about it. And again, this is where things like the distraction mechanic with the crossbow comes in really handy, as you can just lure out enemies one at a time and take them out that way, if that is your preferred style. One thing I was talking with Sock about is kind of the way the introduction tutorial to the stealth mechanics is so kind of rigorous in how it explains things. I just kind of assumed that that was all your items could do, and then of course finding out in the first map that the poison bolts cause infighting, and then finding out from Sock in the comments on Funk that you can actually distract enemies with the crossbow. I was kind of thinking it would be nice to have those things explained to you in the game as well. Now, Sock wanted the player to kind of discover things for themselves about the weapons, which works, that's fine. I just think it'd be nice to have another way of explaining to players like me who just assumed that that was all the items could do from the tutorial. And kind of came up with a few ideas, the best one of which I think was having kind of extra books in these secret areas which kind of give you tips on the weapons. Something I noticed is that the books kind of really aren't used much past the introduction map. They're used to kind of give a little bit of storyline info, and then in the first map there was, I think, one book at the beginning with a little bit of backstory, and that was it. So I think having some extra books kind of scattered around in the various secret areas or little alcoves in the maps, which give you some tips on extra ways to use your weapons, could be really cool. So we'll see what Sock comes up with for the release version. Now, one thing I should have used a lot more in this playthrough is the poison bolts. I mean, I haven't even used one of them yet. I don't really know why that is. I think I was just so preoccupied with just not dying. I mean, at the end of the day, this really is a game about just abusing the tools at your disposal in the best way possible to get through alive. Now, this is where things get really interesting in this map. You notice I was talking at the beginning about new mechanics and new enemies. And as you can see here, we've got these scrags which are teleported in. Now, these are really interesting from a stealth mod point of view because you can't actually backstab them because they're flying in the air. This was awesome when I saw them teleport in. I thought, wow, that's cool, because you can't actually kill them unless you use like the poison or something. There's a couple of ways you can do it. And then this is where it clicked that this is what the electricity pylons are for, to kill these guys. It's just another way of doing it. But again, as I mentioned earlier, when you get a scrag to walk into a electricity pylon, again, it just tickles it like the spike trap did for the ogre. I was expecting it to kind of die instantly. But no, you have to kind of sit around for 5 minutes just constantly zapping this thing before it dies. This is the most blatant area for it. You can just see the scrag standing in between the two electricity pylons. I'm sure that's pretty deliberate to kind of reinforce to the player what they're really for, as it wasn't really obvious until this point. Things are getting a little bit dicey here. There's always one guy staring at you when you try and kill someone. After spending so long trying to get that ogre to turn around, and it just blows back in your face. Now, observant viewers may have noticed that there was a rune in this room here which activates the electricity pylon. But there are no scrags in here currently, so we look pretty safe. Just slowly clean out these guys, then we can look at grabbing that yellow armor up there. Now, I never did quite work out how to get that mega health up there, so that's one secret that I still need to explore around a bit and have a look for. Now, another thing I learned that you can use the crossbow for is if a door is unlocked, you can shoot the door with your crossbow and it will open. It's another one of the many ways you can use that device to your advantage. I don't think I actually use it for that in this video though, but the option is there for you. I do like the decision Socks made to kind of give you a limited amount of tools but make those tools extremely versatile. I do appreciate that. I don't know how I spotted that that button on the floor there. So now I'm trying to find a rune in here, and there it is. Just missed him here. This is the other frustrating thing about these lightning pylons, is that you just have to wait for the scrags to walk into them, which can be a bit of a chore when they don't die instantly. So I'm going to cause some chaos now. monster infighting really is one of the most fun things in Quake. It's great that you have such direct control over it in this mod. I'm just gonna fast forward this bit here because it's just me waiting for Scrags to walk into bolts so I can kill them. This whole area with the silver key here is basically the player teaching area for what the electricity pylons are for, because you can't really get under that Scrag without it spotting you and grab the key. Oh, I don't want to say that. You probably can. I mean, these maps are created so you don't have to kill everything. But I just feel like that whole area is designed to kind of show the player what those electricity pylons are actually for. Master assassin at work. So yeah, we've got some more fast forward action coming up in a second here. Again, I think I've already made my point on this, but let's make it an insta kill, shall we? Please? Oh god, please. Need some Benny Hill music or something. I mean, obviously I could just leave that Scrag there and just ignore it. I don't have to kill it, but once I get an idea in my head, I have to go through with it. It's just how I roll. Now, if I'd paid more attention when the Fiend activated, I would have noticed that he actually got killed by the spike trap in there. So I'm feeling a bit silly now. Now this area seems a bit strange because there's actually no point in me going in there to get the quad damage because it's just going to disappear. So I don't know, I think because these maps can be played in two different modes, some areas feel a little strange like this, where you know, there's like secret areas with items which you just can't use at all, so there actually feels like there's no point to find the secrets. Again, this goes back to like perhaps hiding tips on how to use the weapons in the secret areas to make them more relevant for the stealth portion of the gameplay. And again, here you've got this quad damage in this secret area. Not secret, but you know, alcove, and it just has absolutely no relevance to the stealth gameplay, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, generally the two modes kind of intermix quite well. There's only very, very specific examples I can conjure that feel a little bit strange. Specifically, just that quad damage and a couple of the secrets which don't really have anything for you in the stealth version. But for the most part, they're integrated really nicely. I'm sure we all remember this area from E1M2. Yes, Master Door Knocker. I am happy. Now, I always like how there's kind of multiple ways to solve a situation. So here I could use poison on the Hell Knight to attack the Fiend. I can just backstab the Fiend like I'm doing here. I can avoid them both and just, you know, slip round and press the button that way. The amount of choice you have on how to complete the maps is fantastic. There's something about that red kind of stained glass texture that no matter what map or mod it's in, I always have to shoot it because 9 times out of 10 there's a secret in it. Unfortunately, I've timed my poison a bit incorrectly here. There's actually nothing in line of sight of the Vor, so it doesn't actually attack anything. Whoops. I think I just decided it's better to just walk around and ignore him. Yeah, this whole area could go so wrong if they spot me. Just be really careful. One thing I think could be interesting for kind of later levels in the mod is perhaps an enemy that can see you even when you're in stealth, but perhaps has some sort of limitation like really narrow kind of cone of vision or something, or moves really slowly and you have to kind of learn its patrol route or something. Has potential to be really irritating, however. So I'm just going to try and sneak past this Shambler, as once again I don't fancy my chances in backstabbing it. Alright guys, well, that was the third and final map of In the Shadows by Sok. Quick overall thoughts. I really enjoyed this mod. It's one of the most enthralling Quake experiences I've had for quite a while. The mechanics are so well implemented and they're so deep. There really is a lot of replayability here. Again, there's so many kind of areas that I didn't even see in this map, and I've played it like 2 or 3 times now. There's the possibility for obviously completely stealthy run-throughs, which is obviously like the most skillful way to play this map, is with 0 kills and just avoiding everything. So I heartily recommend it to everyone. I'm really looking forward to the full release. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.